Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Westerospective, where we bring you Game of Thrones, the old seasons and the new. I'm Geoff.
I'm Ron.
Today we are talking Season 1, Episode 8, The Pointy End, but this is a spoiler warning. We are going back and revisiting these old episodes, knowing what we do now after all 6 seasons. So please be caught up before you check out our Westerospective series. Let's go ahead and get started, Ron. The episode opens up with our boy, Syrio.
Fuck yes.
Who we've talked about previously. God damn, he is barely in the show.
He made such an impression.
But he makes such an impression that you get this idea like he was in it for a while.
I feel
but he
like
really never was.
I feel like he was like there was hardly a time that he wasn't in it, and it turns out he's got like 5 minutes of screen time the whole season.
Yeah, I was gonna say like
he's like in 3 episodes.
I think you get about 3 minutes of screen time in this episode. That's the most you get of him, I'm pretty sure. I want to say he has less than 10 minutes of screen time, period. I want to say it's between like 5 and 10 minutes of screen time.
It's crazy what that actor did with that character in that short amount of time.
I don't know where he's been, but he needs to work more because goddamn was he good.
Yes, he was.
He was really good. He'd be really, really good for... I think he should be in Assassin's Creed.
I think
he'd
really
be perfect
cool
for Assassin's Creed. But of course, Assassin's Creed is probably going to suck balls, so we'll never get a sequel for him to be in Assassin's Creed.
Yeah. I'm hoping it's good.
But man, the opening scene, while they're cutting back and forth between Syrio and Arya doing the sword lesson, they're showing all of the remaining Stark people and comrades like just getting murdered viciously.
And god damn was it brutal.
Yeah, I did notice, though, the directing of the action has gotten so much better. Like, the action scenes when they're going around murdering all the people in this episode, it feels almost like a play. Yeah. And now it feels like a movie.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's noticeably different.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. It's almost like a totally different
It's
show
not bad, but it is better in the later seasons.
It's not bad. It's just it's so incredible now that it makes there's a big contrast there. I did write down one of Syrio's quotes. I liked his where he's teaching her to don't trust your eyes type of thing, and he says watching is not seeing, dead girl. I liked that line.
Yes, I liked that too.
Did you have anything else you wanted to add with the opening scene with Syrio?
Nope, we'll have more on Syrio later.
What? This was interesting too. We see Sansa get caught by the Hound. I actually thought it was really, really cool how Arya is fighting back, and Sansa is almost like like a lost puppy. Like she has literally no idea how to handle a situation. I thought it was kind of.
She does not deserve the septum sacrifice.
Yeah,
not at this point, anyway.
Yeah, and I mixed up my notes a little bit. Is that the last time? When is the last time you see Syrio? Is it just that opening portion?
It's just the opening portion. And does it cut back to him later?
I don't think it does. That's what I was about to say. I was thinking it did, but I actually don't think it does. I think what they do is it actually has like quick cuts back and forth.
I think it is quick cuts back and forth.
So yeah, let's go ahead and talk. How fucking badass is Syrio with his wooden sword?
Oh man, I know. He takes out like
a fucking
what?
4 Kingsguard guys.
Yeah, I was gonna say he takes down 4 guys, beats the shit out of them, and oh dude, just it gets me every time that I hear him say, "What do we say to the god of death?" And she says, "Not today," and he tells her to run or to go or whatever it is he says.
The whole time too, I'm screaming just like, pick up one of their swords, man. Just pick up one of their swords for the love of God.
She was like, "Come with me." He's like, "The first sword of Bravos does not run."
Interesting though, you never see him die. He can change his face potentially because of where he's from and just how skilled he is, and he talks about the House of Black and White. You think there's any chance at all they will ever do anything else with that character?
I don't know. It feels like they set it up and then didn't follow that path.
Maybe they were considering it.
Yeah, maybe at one point, but
dude, in the last 2 seasons, if he just pops back up again, I will shit a brick, dude.
and then he pulls off his face, and it's Arya.
Oh man.
Okay, so I'm gonna blow your mind. The actor that plays Syrio, Miltos Eurolimu?
His Game of Thrones name is more realistic than his actual name.
It really is. The first thing that caught my attention when I looked up his IMDb page, Star Wars The Force Awakens.
Whoa, who does he play in Star Wars The Force Awakens?
A bar patron. More or less an extra.
I'm going to have to go and watch Star Wars Force Awakens like on freeze frame by freeze frame until I find Syrio.
Just on a Syrio hunt. Yeah. No, that was the first thing that I said. I almost shouted it out like when you were in mid-sentence and I saw it. Nothing that I recognize in his upcoming projects.
That makes me sad. That makes me real sad. Like that guy is so fucking good.
He's got something that sounds kind of cool coming up, but yeah, it's Star Wars: The Force Awakens. I was like,
man, how could, dude? You get fucking Syrio and like a lightsaber fight. Oh,
I know,
so
right?
Rad.
That would be just incredible.
So yes, rest in peace? Syrio, I guess. We should probably we should come up with some type of segment for when characters die.
Really?
We're going to be getting into that real soon. Like we need to have like
the Hunger Games.
Yeah,
the cannon fire.
We need something. We'll figure. That
we
out.
are 6 seasons too late with that idea.
Yeah. A scene I'd totally forgotten about. I totally forgot that when Arya is escaping, she just straight up shanks that.
I know, like prison shanks him. Yeah, no, I didn't see that coming either. I thought her first kill came like much later, because I'm assuming that kid's dead.
Oh, he's very dead.
Yeah,
he's very dead. Like it's weird. As like it almost makes the kill more brutal to watch because it's such a small weapon.
Yes,
it's like it's closer to a syringe than a sword. You're just like, I don't. Yeah. You just, yeah. But yeah.
It's just
it's really clever character setup for her because her first gut reaction, I'm gonna shank a bitch in the stomach. She just does it. Sansa goes into total lockdown just seeing someone come after her. Arya turns around, stabs fucker in the stomach, doesn't even care.
Yeah, like it's amazing how much, like we talked about before, how different Sansa is now, but going back to season 1, it's even more of a drastic change. Yeah,
it really is. So Arya escapes. From there we go to Ned in the dungeon with Varys. Fucking love Conlethel, dude. I wrote down some of the quotes that they have. This is a great scene. I like how Ned is asking him basically like what's been going on. Varys tells him like everyone you came with is now dead, and then he asks him like you watched all those people die and you did nothing, and then he tells him when you look at me do you see a hero?
Yeah,
and it's the way he delivers the lines. Brilliant.
He was like I was unarmored, like just telling it exactly the way it is.
I like his line too, where he's like, no one trusts the eunuch.
Yeah. And he had to drink the water before he gave it to him.
Well, one of the lines that Ned has that is it's such a cool, like it could totally be the name of a bit, is when Varys asks him like what madness drove you to spare the children and everything and do all this, and he says the madness of mercy. That is totally a band name. Yeah. And then this is, I think you actually talked about this quote one of our last episodes where Ned asks him like, who is it, you're serving right now? And he just says, the realm, my lord, someone must.
Yes.
I think you had talked about that in the previous episode, right?
Yeah, when you were talking about how it seems like his intentions seem to be genuinely like for the good of everybody. And I brought up that scene. But,
yeah, it's interesting, the dichotomy between Littlefinger and Varys, because they both really know what they're doing. They know how to manipulate everybody. The difference is Varys is out there to help everyone, and Littlefinger is out to help no one but Littlefinger.
Yep.
So it is like they are really, really... Oh, it's such brilliant character and placement.
It's almost like, they're each other's arch nemesis, like hero-villain type setup just between the two of them.
Yeah. What's also too to like just to give more credit for Martin, like first of all, it is an undertaking just to create all of the magnificent characters he did, but he knew exactly where to place all of them in a story to make them to get the most out of them.
Yeah.
Really, really well done. Really, really well done. Let's see. From there, did you have anything else to add with the Ned and Varys scene?
Nope.
All right. From there, we go to the Night's Watch. They have brought in the corpses they have found after Benjen's horses come in. And this leads into the scene between Snow and Mormont, where Snow gets the news, all of the shit's been going down at King's Landing. I really liked the moment. As soon as Snow figures out what has happened, he gets up to leave the Night's Watch.
Yes.
It's like, yes, he's honor bound, and he's not as high on the Night's Watch now as he used to be, but he's still pretty honor bound to them. But family comes first for him, even though they're not technically by name as family. He goes out to rescue them immediately. It's a cool moment.
Yeah, it's a really cool moment. And then Mormont's like, "Don't do anything stupid."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, love the Commander Mormont actor too. Good stuff. We transition back to Sansa with Cersei, Littlefinger, and Varys. This is the scene where they're trying to use Sansa as bait to get Robb into the capital. They are desperately trying to get her to sign her own letter to them, which is kind of telling on just how little they respect the intelligence of the Starks.
Oh my God. Like, every time someone brings up a letter from Sansa, it doesn't matter who they're talking to. The other person's response is, "From the Queen, you mean?"
From the Queen, yeah. They all know, but Cersei thinks so little of their family. She thinks she's, it's going to work beautifully. Because
that never actually crossed my mind the first time I ever watched this. And, like, it explains so many of their defeats in battle against the Starks later, because they're completely underestimating them, so much so that they'll think Sansa wrote that letter. I mean, come on.
It's interesting. It's like the whole reason they're in this conflict is because Ned underestimated them.
Yeah.
And then if you don't have the Red Wedding happen, because the Lannisters underestimate the Starks in the field, the Lannisters were going just because of how many battles they were losing. Like, it was looking pretty dire for them until they had the Red Wedding thing happen. But yeah, it's really interesting.
Which we should have also seen coming because of a line that is, I believe, later in this. And I don't remember the exact quote. You might have it, but it was about a lot of people dying in their sleep under Tywin's orders.
Yeah,
a lot of children and stuff. The Targaryen children. That's what it was.
I think the line was like, he ordered, the death of all the children in their sleep, and the years have not made him kinder. I think that's the line. Yeah.
So it really should not have been surprised the Red Wedding happens when it does.
They fucking tell you everything that will ever happen. It's just so subtly done, and you don't know what to look for. It'll all go right over your fucking head. But yeah, in this scene, I thought it was interesting too. It just shows you how far in advance everything is plotted out. Littlefinger is backing Sansa the entire episode.
Yeah.
They're already showing you, and they showed you a little bit before, but really in this episode, if Littlefinger can't have Catelyn, he wants the next best thing, which is Sansa.
Creepy.
Yeah. Littlefinger, you are an awesome character, but you are one creepy motherfucker. Okay.
But, perfectly acceptable in that age.
Yeah. They're all, the fucking...
when she hits 13, she's old enough to wed.
The Targaryens are intentionally inbreeding.
Yeah.
Like, it's dark, fucked up shit going down. From there, we go to a scene between Robb, Maester Luwin, and Theon, where they get the letter from quote-unquote Sansa. And I think it's pretty interesting, too. Like, there's a lot of, I think, really, really cool development for Robb throughout the episode.
Yeah.
Like, Robb ends up fucking up, but he had really good character traits to lead that he shows throughout the episode that we'll get into more detail later on. Let's see. Speaking of Catelyn, a minute ago, we go to Catelyn and Lysa. Is it Lysa? They usually say Lysa, right?
I think they usually say Lysa, yeah.
Crazy bitch. That's what we're going to call her.
Yeah, definitely. Fucking Robin, man.
Dude. You want to talk about, like...
I'm hungry.
That kid kind of crushed that performance. Like,
I know.
It's a creepy character.
Yeah, he did.
Man. It's like unsettling to watch them.
Unfortunately for him, he did really well. Like the Joffrey actor.
Yeah. This is kind of fucked up. Just how it just shows you how like far gone Lysa is. Catelyn's like, my husband's in a dungeon. My kid's going to war, and you waited like a day letter. Like,
yeah, she said that you're in my house. I only showed it to you as a courtesy.
Yeah, like what the actual fuck? Oh, Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's not much else to say other than what the actual fuck every time Lysa and Robin are on the screen. Let's see. Next up, we go to Bronn and Tyrion. I fucking love the bromance that is Bronn and Tyrion.
Okay, so this is one point I was wanting to bring up. Like the Syrio stuff, in my memory, the Bronn and Tyrion traveling together was a season-long thing, not like an episode and a half.
Well, you end up getting, like, they are together quite a bit next season. But yeah, I get what you're saying. This time period seems like it lasted a lot longer.
They just all of a sudden happen upon Tywin's camp, and I was like, I remember that taking like a whole season for them to get there.
Yeah, you're like a Lord of the Rings trek.
Yeah, basically. They had to throw a ring into a mountain.
I can't carry you.
Yeah.
Let's see. I had completely forgotten they got captured by the Stone Crow guys. I had completely forgotten that whole part. To the point when they got surrounded by the barbarian dudes, like I was like, huh, that did happen. Like, seems so long ago.
The only reason I remembered it was Tyrion's answer to how he wants to die. That was the only reason I remembered it.
Man, Tyrion's genius about speaking to the crowd he wants to talk to. Like, you really, like he's very, very good at getting people to side with them. Did you have anything else you wanted to add with that scene? We'll get more into the Stone Crow dudes later.
Nope, that's it.
We go back to the Night's Watch with... Dude, Jon Snow has a lot more edgy scenes in Season 1 than I remembered him having. Yeah. I always kind of looked back on him as like, oh, he was always the Boy Scout. But, man, you talk about like they had that earlier episode where he threatens the guy with ghosts.
Yes.
And then you talk about here, he just straight up, because Thorne's being an asshole, he just straight up takes a knife towards him. Like,
yes.
Snow actually was, you know, they had some edgy stuff for them that I'd totally forgotten about. I mean, like that scene when he goes after him with a knife is really cool. He gets, because of the attack, I guess he's about to be killed, right? Like...
I don't know, because you'd think if that's the case, he wouldn't be just confined to quarters.
Because Thorne tells him, you know, you're going to hang... At the very least, he's going to be punished for a while, like...
Yeah, because I think Commander Mormont would know the stress John's under, and he knows their relationship, and he knows that he instigated it. But at the same time, he'll also say that John should be able to control himself, that he did... raise up against, you know, an officer of the Night's Watch. I don't think he would be executed for it. I think if Mormont hadn't been there to witness it himself, maybe. But because there were witnesses that would be like, yeah, he did, you know, but Mormont was there for the situation. That was my take on it. Because to me, I mean, what's to keep him from deserting then if he knows that you're going to kill him, if you just confine him to quarters? Because I mean, even when you
can't put anything past the Night's Watch because they're a bunch of bastards.
And you know, once you know when Ghost is freaking out, he just opens his door and steps out. There's no guards or anything. Yeah,
it's true. It's just like it's kind of fucked up that like because Thorne says that, it kind of shows that they have a precedence for that. You know what I'm saying? It's fucked. Like they have some real like hardcore laws going.
Well,
amongst them.
think about their crowd though. Think about the people that they take in. They're thieves, rapists, murderers. You know, a lot of them, not all of them. Some of them were nearly molested, and it happened to be a lord. You know, stuff like that.
That would be the way I would get
right
sent to the Night's Watch.
Yeah.
And then since Snow has been sent to basically house arrest, he is in position to save Mormont because he goes and has a really, really pretty badass fight scene with the White Walker.
Yes.
For season 1, it's pretty visceral.
And
I also like how...
that moment when he grabs the lantern with his bare hand and you hear him scream as he throws it.
Yeah, that's money. Well, dude, he straight up headbutts a White Walker. That's pretty badass. I like me some Jon Snow, dude. Every time I watch anything happen with the White Walkers, I get itchy to go watch Hardhome.
I know. I do too.
I cannot wait to go back and watch.
Is that season 5?
4. No, 5. 5.
Damn it.
4 is the in 4 we have the wall invasion to look forward to, but in 5 is Hardhome.
When you said maybe 4, I was like, oh, good, it's closer, and then you went back to 5.
But we do get Mega Scythe.
Yes.
So that'll
Mega Scythe of Doom.
Let's see. Did you have anything else to add with that section?
No, not really. Other than I do have one thing actually.
Liar.
Fucking Commander Mormont is a badass later. He was totally worthless in this scene, dude. I mean, granted, the dead body that came in through your gates this morning is now trying to kill you. But, I mean, still, for how badass he is later, it's like, what the fuck are you doing, dude? Your sword can straight up murder these things, too, which I know they don't know yet, but...
Yeah, but you would at least try.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's he was like Optimus Prime in the first Transformers movie. He's basically not there for the fight.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. But, let's see. From there, we go to Khaleesi. In one of the most important episodes for Khaleesi's development, honestly, because this is the episode where she saves the witch.
Yep.
Her showing mercy ends up getting Khal Drogo killed later on, and this is kind of like it gets her unborn child killed too because she ends up sacrificing it in an attempt to save Drogo. Blah blah blah. Like a lot of awful shit happens because she shows mercy. You know, sight unseen to these people.
Yeah.
And, man, you want to talk about badass line that can kind of go over your head a little bit because it happens in subtitles. But after Khaleesi has saved that they were about to rape, and one of the underlings under Khal Drogo has gone to complain to Drogo about Khaleesi, and... He tells Khal, basically talking shit about Khaleesi, does a horse mate with the lamb?
Yes.
And she says the dragon feeds on horse and lamb alike. He was like, damn, man.
Even Drogo was just
the look on his face, the whole scene.
Like, that's my girl, was basically his reaction.
It's like...
He was so proud of her in that moment. Like, I think kind of in the background, if you watch closely, you can see Drogo wipe a tear away.
Dude, Momoa, man, so much charisma without saying a word.
Yeah.
Love Momoa. So good.
And then we have Bran in season 6.
Yeah, right. Fuck you, Game of Thrones.
But
man,
that fight.
That fight, dude.
That's more intense than I remember.
Dude, he took a fucking Shodel to a Khal Drogo fight, and it just did not go well. Dude, when he sticks the Shodel into his fucking shoulder, and he just keeps walking towards him, like, dude, run. You fucking run at that point. And he pulls his knives out just to throw them on the ground.
Yeah, fucking Arthur Curry, man.
Dude, give me Justice League and Aquaman like fucking now. I cannot wait.
Fuck Justice League, just give me Aquaman.
I cannot wait to fucking have fucking Khal Drogo with a goddamn murder trident, dude. Like, yes.
Yes, dude.
Best casting of all time is fucking Aquaman.
Dude, and then when it says something like, you can't kill me, and he's like, I already have, and he flips his Shodel around.
Oh my god, it's so good. Oh, and then he fucking Voorheeses him when he slices his throat, grabs it, and rips out his whole fucking trachea and everything. It's like, god damn, dude.
Yeah.
God damn. Love
it
me
was
Khal Drogo, dude.
crazy.
Fucking amazing. And it's just really sad that like Drogo is such a cool character that little cut is what kills him.
Yeah. Well, that's the way shit happens, man.
But it's just it's the thing too. If Khaleesi doesn't save the witch or back the witch by letting her help him, there's a chance that, you know, even if he never even treats the wound, he has a better shot at surviving than getting cursed, you know?
Yeah.
Like, Khaleesi does, in a way, get him killed by showing mercy, and then that really defines her character later on, because Khaleesi, from here on out, gives 0 fucks, period.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anything else with that scene?
Just pure awesomeness.
Pure fucking unadulterated badass. Love it. We go back to Robb at Winterfell. I totally forgot about this scene too, where didn't catch his name. I think they said Greyjohn. I think might have been his name, but he's one of the lieutenants basically in the Stark army that they're gathering up. When he starts talking shit to Robb,
I love that guy.
He's fucking fantastic. When he gets his fingers bitten off, and then they all laugh like it's a Monty Python scene. That is amazing, and I totally read when that scene happens. Yeah. And I love Bran's just like, what the fuck reaction.
That one moment for Bran is better than him in all of season 6.
I know. It has been just ridiculous. Like, every episode, I'm impressed by Bran. And I'm like, what the fuck happened? What the fuck? Like, he's really good in that scene.
But yeah, when everybody kind of like stops what they're doing and stands up or whatever, Robb is just like, everybody here knows that like drawing their steel against me or against my family or whatever is punishable by death. So I can assure you that he was just trying to help me cut my meat or something like that. And then he stands up, he's like, your meat is damn tough or something like that. And he's like holding up the 2 missing fingers. Like,
yeah.
It
is straight up like, so like you'd see in Monty Python.
Yeah.
And it was so
it reminded me of like
so
a 300 Spartan moment, dude.
It was really, really great. More like Robb was a good leader in that scene. Like,
he's very King of the North already at this moment.
Just saying that makes me like, I want Lyanna Mormont now. She's so awesome. Dude, another scene I'd forgotten about too. Okay, Robb is leaving in the middle of the night, so he's less likely to be caught by Lannister spies. He goes and talks to Bran before he leaves, telling Bran basically like, you have to be the one Stark left in Winterfell right now. Robb leaves, but there's a scene where Rickon comes in and he talks to Bran, and like, this scene was fucking dark. Like, Bran tells him, you know, like, oh, everything's gonna be fine. He's gonna come back with, you know, with Dad and Mom. Everything's gonna be happy and, you know, big happy family again. And Rickon just straight up says like, no, he's not, and he just walks out. You're just like, Jesus, Rickon's the only one who actually knows what the fuck's going on.
Yeah, and he says it with all the cheer of the kid on the big wheel in The Shining.
Yeah, right. Like,
yeah.
That scene was just like a punch in the balls. Like, damn. We go to the next scene with Bran and Osha in front of the werewood. Is that what they call the?
I don't even know.
Something like that. Whatever the old gods and the new trees are. I forget the creepy ass fucking trees.
Yeah,
what I refer to them as. This is the scene with Hodor
and his giant's blood.
Just walks out. Yeah, he just walks out bare ass. Like, it's pretty awesome. I just like Bran is just like. And another good scene, he's just like, Hodor, go put your clothes back on.
And he's like, Hodor. Yeah.
Love Hodor. I don't think I had any more notes for this one other than, I mean, there's a little bit more backstory between about the trees. Osha talks about how, like, in what was probably a chapter in the book, she talks about going to talk to Robb, telling him and pleading with him to go, you know,
he's marching the wrong way.
To worry about, you're going the wrong way. Yeah. I do plan once the show is over to go back and read the books to see all of that was changed, but I'm assuming that's from the book. Did you have anything else to add with that scene?
Just the we get enough of Osha here to actually see that character open up a little bit, because I like when she calls herself a slave or whatever. And he's like, "You're not a slave," and then she like just like wiggles her like anklet in front of him.
Yeah,
and then he's like, "You tried to kill me." She's like, "I'm not complaining. I'm just calling it the way it is." You know, like she's that way all the way up until fucking Ramsay.
Fucking Ramsay.
Dirty fucking shin kicker.
the ultimate dirty fucking shin kicker.
He kicked me in my shins more than Joffrey did.
We're starting to run low on time, so we're going to speed it up a little bit. We go back to the Night's Watch. They are burning the White Walker. You get a little bit more lore from Sam. That's pretty interesting. I like the scene, too, where John's talking to him. Like, how do you know this? I read one of Maester Aemon's books, which made me think at that moment that, like, when we get later on to the scenes where Aemon and John are talking, he's actually talking to a blood relative. I had forgotten that point. That's pretty cool. I'm really interested to see what they talk about, to see if Martin lays any like hints in their conversations.
Yeah.
It'd be kind of interesting. But it's mostly just White Walker lore. From there, what'd you say?
I said just.
Yeah, just White Walker lore. That's not important. They don't ever come back again.
Well, they've been gone for thousands of years, so.
Yeah, they'll be fine. They'll be fine. We transition to Catelyn and Robb. Catelyn rejoins the Stark army that Robb's gathering up. I actually really, really like a lot of the dynamic they end up setting up between Catelyn and Robb. Because they had to really, really make a point in the show to make an emphasis on making their scenes kind of heartfelt, because like the Red Wedding is such an important moment for the show and for the series that they have to spend a lot of time developing their relationship to make that impact you even more.
Yeah,
and I think they did a good job. Looking back, did you have anything else you wanted to add with the Catelyn and Robb stuff?
Is this the scene with the spy?
That is later on.
That's later on. Okay,
this is just the one where. It's
been a few days since I watched it.
They do have the cool moment where there's more good stuff from the guy who has his fingers bitten off.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that guy. I forget does he get killed in the Red Wedding? Or does he get killed like way before that? I'm assuming he dies just because of what show we're talking about.
I don't even know. He's not the one that refused the call to banners later in season 6, is he?
I don't think so. Maybe one of his family members. I don't know. It's hard to. The Bannermen under the Starks are really hard to keep straight because there's a fuck ton of them and they don't get a lot of screen time.
Yeah.
So let's see. We go back to Tyrion and Bronn. Yes. Where they are walking up with the what were they called? What are the barbarian dudes?
Are they the Stone Crows?
Yeah, he walks out with the Stone Crow army after Tyrion has basically promised them gold and whatever the hell else they want, just to not murder them. They walk up. This is actually the first time you get to see Dinklage and Charles Dance act together, and they were already wonderful together.
And the thing that blew my mind in this scene, is it Kevin or Kevin Lannister? Kevin?
Fucking, dude. You got fucking Cersei, you got Tyrion, you got Tywin, his dad Tytos, and Kevin. I swear to God, that has to be a George R.R. Martin joke. Because, that'd be my luck. Everyone else gets a badass name, and my name's fucking Kevin. But
I would have swore that when they introduced him in, I think, season 5, and then he's in, all through season 6, that was the first time I'd fucking seen him, and everyone's acting like I should know who he is. And I was just like, who the fuck is this guy? And then at one point, I inferred that he's a Lannister, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, that makes more sense. And then here I am, just minding my own business, watching season 1, and there he is in the tent with Tywin.
My actual note was LOL Kevin. That was all I put down. That just tells you everything you need to know. We could obviously quote just about everything Charles Dance and Tyrion say, but I did want to write down the Bronn one, where Tyrion is introducing all of them behind him, and he says, "And here we have Bronn, son of You wouldn't know him.
I love Bronn.
Love him. I also really like to the end cap of the scene is Tywin agrees to work with the what was this, the stone guys? What were they called?
The Stone Crows.
Stone Crows. He agrees to everything Tyrion promised him, and they're like, yeah, but he has to fight with it. He's just like, okay.
Yeah.
He would actually prefer Tyrion go out and get murdered right there to further help their name.
Yes.
And get Tyrion out of his hair. Like,
Yep.
It's fucked up, but it's true.
Fucking Tywin, man. Terrifying character.
But you love him nonetheless.
Yep.
We go back to Rob and Cat with probably the first time you ever see them refer to the phrase. You've heard them mention them back when she takes Tyrion as a prisoner, but like actually talking about the phrase as a strategy because they need to have the they have to have the river bridge, right, to be able to tactically go about fighting Tywin and Jaime's armies. You want to talk about fucking great ass foreshadowing? One of the lines Catelyn has when they're talking about a backstory of Walder Frey not showing up to a battle he was supposed to show up to. I think they say that he shows up late.
Yes.
She says some men take their oaths more seriously than others, and they cut back to Rob as she's saying it. I was like, well fucking done and bravo, because that was not an accident, and that was fucking brilliant.
Well played, Game of Thrones. Well played.
Too fucking shay. And I like how they captured the Lannister spy, and Rob decides to let him go. Now I forget, was this a strategy that he ends up was a strategy later on? Did you remember this at all? Or did he just say fuck it, I want him to know our numbers? I can't remember.
I honestly can't remember.
When I watched the scene, he specifically tells the spy, you go and tell Tywin the Starks march south or something like that. Maybe he's telling him the opposite of what he's going to do, but I can't remember. But we'll find out next week when we watch the next episode. But that was what I was wanting to say happens, but he could have just been, fuck it, I don't even care anymore.
Yeah.
Fucking tell him.
I love that he's told him to tell his lord that winter is coming for him. That was metal, dude. They're
fucking metal, dude. Yeah, Rob, pretty badass character. I like how the dude we keep talking about how much we like and we don't know his fucking name. I think it's Greyjohn. He calls him boy. And then Rob just gets right up in his face and he says, call me boy again, go on.
The guy is like head, neck, and shoulders taller than Rob. And he just gets like in his face as best he can.
In his fucking grill, dude. Good stuff.
And then my favorite part of the scene, how much have we talked up Catelyn through this series so far?
Not very much.
Not very much, because I thought we were talking about how, like, we've talked several times about what a strong female character she is. She's one of the strongest characters in the show up to this point that we were talking about. All that. We've talked about her several times.
We've talked about her several times, but she's a strong character, but she hasn't done the smartest decisions, which most of the Starks have not by this point.
But the point that I'm about to make, just realizing how strong of a character she is, and when she says Rob and he looks at her and she looks away, like, yeah, that was the King of the North moment right there.
Yeah, those are probably one of the very best, if not the best, Rob episodes they ever did.
Yeah.
We go back to King's Landing. This is where they start basically listing out all of the changes now that Joffrey and Cersei are in control. One of the first things they announce... Do what, sorry?
I just said, oh, man.
One of the first things they announce is they have given, I think they say Harrenhal, which is the prison later on that Arya ends up getting captured in and with Jaqen. That, I believe they say Harrenhal has been granted to Janos Slynt, who is the guy who was in the King's Guard that betrayed Ned for Littlefinger.
Yeah.
So he's the first character you see. They announce next, Tywin is now Hand of the King.
Of course.
And then they have one of the most boss moments of the series when they piss off Sir Barristan in the middle of the throne room, dude.
Yeah.
Holy shit. We're going to get into some detail really quick before we head on out, but man, like, it's a really important scene, too, because if they don't piss off Sir Barristan, and Sir Barristan leaves to go and seek out Khaleesi dies.
Yeah.
If only they aren't pricks in this one matter, which they know they're being douchebags about because they specifically set him up as a scapegoat for no reason.
Yeah.
Because they all fucking know that they killed the king. Yeah. It's just crazy that they fucked themselves again. Because of just how fucking pompous they are.
Did that moment when he looks like he's about to charge all of them with his sword?
Even now, I could cut through the five of you like carving a cake.
Yeah.
Fucking love it. And you want to talk about, at this point, he has talked back to Cersei, and he says, the last thing he says before he leaves, he tosses his sword after he's thrown his armor down on the ground. He tosses his sword across the ground towards Joffrey, and he says, "Here, boy, melt it down and add it to the others."
Yes.
He talks shit to Cersei and Joffrey in the throne room
in front of everyone.
Murdered.
And dude, even Joffrey on the throne is like, the fuck do I do? What am I supposed to do?
He's terrified.
Yeah.
He reverts back to being like a 4-year-old little kid at that moment. Like, oh, dude, it's great. Fucking love Sir Barristan, dude.
That scene, I guess knowing Joffrey the way that I know him now and knowing Cersei the way I know her now, that scene is so much more intense and badass than I remember it being.
Like, we're talking about when you think like you just said, like when you have the context of what Cersei and Joffrey are capable of, and Sir Barristan just has this boss ass fucking moment and embarrasses them almost, embarrasses the king, and just walks out of the fucking room like a fucking pimp, dude. Love it. One of my absolute now favorite moments, I think, of the series.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome.
So fucking metal, dude.
A naked night, evidently.
Do what? What'd you say?
A naked night, evidently.
Fucking Littlefinger, dude. Let's see. Oh, important too. The one person out of all of them who is actually being respectful to Barristan is Varys, actually. Varys is actually like trying to be kind of diplomatic with him.
Yeah.
Like, he's the only one who shows any respect to him in the entire throne room at that moment.
A hole to bury me in and servants to bury me in.
Right.
Or something like that.
I'm a knight. Love it. Love it. And this is the setup for the next episode, which we're going to have a lot to talk about in the next episode. This is when Sansa is actually able to sort of kind of give her dad a shot. Because her actually playing the game with Joffrey is what gives her dad a chance.
Yes.
Because at this point, if it's not Joffrey commanding it, there is no way in hell they're letting Ned walk out of the situation alive. So Sansa actually has a pretty cool moment. You know, like she has to be brave for her family, and she is.
Yeah. And she knew, like you said, how to play the game because, like you said, she went to Joffrey.
She plays up her relationship with Joffrey.
Cersei is in no position to overrule Joffrey.
Yep. And in the perfect moment to do so, because Joffrey has to appear kingly in the throne room in front of everyone.
Yes.
So she's playing the game really, really well. That was an important scene. And the last note I had was that was actually a really, really cool shot from the cinematographer, how the episode ends as they pin down over the swords of the throne.
Yes.
Which is a really, really cool just shot to end it on. And I think that's everything I had. Was there anything else you wanted to add that you think we missed?
No. I think that pretty much covers it.
Looking forward to next week's episode. Probably going to have... We need to figure out, at least for Ned, what we're going to send out people on, you know?
Yeah.
For the podcast. We'll have to talk about that, figure it out. If you would like to check us out more, please like and subscribe. That gets you all of our content. We also do Let's Plays and a news podcast every week, in addition to our Game of Thrones material. We have Facebook and Twitter links in the description below if you're curious about following us on social media. And if you know anyone else that also might enjoy our content, we would really, really appreciate a share. For this night and all the nights to come, I am Geoff.
I'm Ron, and this watch has ended.